Loners, being lonely, having no friends. These are all phrases that describe you. But don't worry, just like Kurt Cobain, I'm ugly and so are you. I am also an absolute loner too. There were large portions of my life where I legitimately had zero actual friends. Believe it or not, I know. I seem like the coolest dude in the world, an absolute Chad that makes anime videos on the internet. I know, how could someone like that be lonely? But it is true. And the show I'm talking about in this video is maybe the anime that I have related to most in my life. But for now, that's enough with the depressing talk. For those that haven't seen Bocchi The Rock, I'll go ahead and get you somewhat up to speed. The main character of this story is a high school girl named Hitori Goto, who has an extreme case of social anxiety to the point where she has seemingly never had a friend and is always shown in the classroom as the girl in the corner that sits by herself, eats by herself, can't physically talk to anyone without getting extremely nervous. All of the usual attributes of a lonely anime character. But instead of just wallowing in her loneliness and succumbing to a world of depression, she takes inspiration from famous musicians and realizes that if she can express herself through an instrument, she can gain people's attention without being an outgoing, extroverted person. So a few years before the plot of this show takes place, Bocchi picks up her father's old guitar and basically dedicates her life to being as good of a guitar player as physically possible. She plays by herself in a box because, of course, she can't bear to play in front of other people. But instead of playing in front of physical people, she plays in front of a camera and posts it on the internet. I'm sure you can start to see why I related to this so much, especially when you consider, this is a little known fact, I used to post videos about me playing the piano on this very channel. Do not go looking for them, they are long gone. Anyway, Bocchi quickly gains online popularity, and during her rise to YouTube fame, she is recruited by a local schoolgirl to be her band's guitarist. Bocchi The Rock is basically a documentation of how her character grows with joining this band, playing not only in front of people but with people, and finally attempting to escape her crippling social anxiety. And it is an absolutely amazing representation of what a lot of introverted people go through in their school years, and I am absolutely no stranger to those cringy, antisocial years in school. Starting with Bocchi carrying a guitar to school. Believe it or not, I took multiple years of guitar class in school, and I legitimately used to walk to middle school with a backpack and a guitar both hanging off of me because I had to bring an electric guitar to my guitar class. And you know what comes with an electric guitar? An amp. So here is this middle school kid, not yet hit puberty, probably like 5'2", carrying my backpack, an electric guitar, and a fucking amp to school every other day because God forbid I just store it in one of the million closets within that wretched prison they call a school. Also, maybe an anime with a cool looking character carrying a guitar to school may look cool, but for me, I imagine it only made people more weirded out seeing the antisocial kid carrying the entirety of Guitar Center on his back to and from school every other day. Also, the can't play in front of other people thing is very real. I remember there was this trip to go hang out in another city with the whole guitar class. It was supposed to be this fun thing where we go play a gig in another city. And to everyone else, it was that cool thing. It was a free couple days off of school and an opportunity to show what you learned. But to me, it was the worst possible thing I could ever attempt to do in my life. So of course, I made some excuse like, oh, I've got plans those days. I never had plans. I don't even remember what I said. Whatever it wasn't true. But I weaseled my way out of it due to a fear of failing so strong it could kill a fucking horse. So yeah, right off the bat, Bocchi and I were on the same wavelength, guitar on her back, absolutely no friends. It's a great time. There's also a lot of the cliche stuff that I, and I'm sure many of you guys can relate to as well, which was like eating lunch alone, sitting in class alone, just wanting to go home and escape reality through the internet. All of those little things that you see throughout the show are very real representations of people with social anxiety and just introverted people in general. Posting videos anonymously on the internet is something I've been doing for a while, and it's really a super unique thing in this world because you can just let loose and be someone completely different than you are in your real life because there aren't really any expectations on the internet. I love all of you watching this, but nobody here knows who I am in real life, and that's pretty freeing. So that whole aspect of the show was super relatable, where she could just pursue her passion without anyone actually knowing who she was. Also, seeing the numbers go up and your comments roll in is just as exciting as it's depicted in the show. Bocchi has nobody to really perform for in real life because she can't get over her anxiety. So instead, she just reads the interactions in the comments, which when you're passionate about what you're posting, it really is reassuring and encouraging, even if you have absolutely no clue who the people commenting are. But even outside of the online aspect of the show and the music aspect of the show, there are some quotes in this show that are surprisingly hard-hitting that I absolutely was not expecting. This anime on the surface seems like it's just one of those fun band shows with some funny moments, like Bocchi hiding in a trash can or partying and drinking fake tequila shots by herself. But there are some crazy lines, like, I could burst from the sheer volume of nuisance I inflict upon myself. And also, my only pictures with people other than family are in the yearbook, which are both pretty depressing quotes. But these are only a couple that I heard and really wanted to note because I'm sure a ton of people that watched the show and are watching this video right now can relate to them. Personally, specifically the yearbook one related to me. I don't think I've been in a picture with my friends in my life, and I'm fully aware how depressing that sounds. I promise I'm okay. But there was even a year where I just didn't even show up to get my picture taken in the yearbook. So 1 year of my life where if you didn't see me in person walking through the halls like my dog just died, you would have no clue I existed. And sadly, that is the life of someone like Bocchi, someone who A, wants to meet new friends but is too nervous to talk to people, or B, people that legitimately don't care enough to leave their own little bubble, which I think I used to be more of the latter, just not caring about anyone or anything. But for now, to put a cap on the depressing thoughts, I have changed since those cringe, lonely middle to high school days, and actually, believe it or not, have friends now, and don't mind talking to new people. It's a progression that is slowly being shown in Bocchi The Rock, and will hopefully be shown in more seasons in the future. But if you are one of those people that considers themselves as a loner, or someone that can't bear talking to another human being, trust me, I was there. That kid sitting by himself eating his lunch like a weirdo, that was me a lot of the time, but there are better days ahead. Watching this show kind of got me reminiscing on some of the most cringe things I have done in all my days of living, like the countless times when a popular girl or even guy would try to talk to me and I would legitimately just go full on mute. Like not even a hey, how are you doing? No, full on silence. Just looking at them like they were the weird ones. Newsflash, it was me. I was the weird one for staring at people like I didn't understand English. Or maybe the times when I would get bullied by the weird kids. No, not like bullied by the school jock. No, that's level 1 crook. I was on level 100 mafia boss getting bullied by the weird kids. Do you know how weird and lonely you have to be to get bullied by the weird kid? It was bad. And if I had to throw a singular critique at Bocchi The Rock, I would say that it doesn't really depict the bullying / getting made fun of all the time aspect of being a loner. But I do understand it probably would have made the show a little more depressing than it needs to be. But yeah, Bocchi is one of those characters that challenges the typical perfect anime character trope you see in every show. If I were to guess, I'd say the original creator of the story has some personal experience being a complete shut-in, because it seems a little too real to just be completely made up. But I was trying to think up a way to end this video while I was scripting this, but I think I should just give a PSA since this was a little more personal and serious than I usually ever get in my videos. So if you suffer from social anxiety or feel like you're a loner and have nobody to talk to, please try not to worry too much about it. If you're worried about it, I assume you're probably in your school years, maybe middle school, high school, something like that. And I promise you, none of that matters at all once you're out of it. Most days I forget I even went to high school, which may sound depressing, but right now I'm happy and I have evolved since those loner days, and I know you can too. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I love you. Bye. All the other king, gida pampara kitu veteran, I'm throw my gun. All the other king, gida pampara kitu veteran, faster than my wallet. All the other king, gida pampara kitu veteran.